And welcome back to Completely Unoriginal, your source for everything nerd here at DakotaBroadcasting.com. I'm Adam St. Paul with Kurt Campbell and Tony Zur. And we welcome Kurt back.
Yeah, you guys kicked me off the show last week.
We did not kick you off.
I fought my way back.
We did not kick you off the show. We had been kind of lackluster in production, and we felt we should get some content out there, and you happened to take the day off of work.
I did. Yes, I did.
So, yeah, and I apologize for not. I haven't been keeping up on the YouTube channel at all, so I still have like 4 episodes I need to release still. So
that's all right.
You're still kind of on the mend, and you have your good days and bad days, right?
Indeed.
So,
don't sweat it, man.
Yeah, there you go. So basically, we don't really have anything news, movie news to talk, but instead, I think Kurt and I might want to have at Tony Zur here for a rant he posted on his Facebook page. For those of you that follow Mr. Tony Zur, he basically had a big hate fest on Marvel, and the thing was, we just couldn't really figure it out. And I didn't think I was a Marvel fanboy, but after reading that post, I kind of starting to think I am, if that's how people feel. But Tony, I'm going to give you the floor, and you tell us what you're feeling right now, and we'll see if we can't come to some sort of mutual understanding here.
Yeah, right. You're going to call me Hitler and all that.
No, you're worse than Hitler, and we hope you die in a fire.
That's how the argument will end.
Yes.
But in the meantime.
Okay, did either of you guys see Civil War yet?
I have.
I have not.
Okay. All right. Well, I might pull one spoiler out for you, Kurt, but it's not going to be a big one.
If you want, Kurt.
All right. Okay. If it's not a major spoiler.
It is seriously not a major spoiler, and that's one of my points that I'm going to make here.
Okay.
First of all, 1/3 of all of this bullshit that's going on with Marvel right now is my fault. because of the fact that I have a Facebook account and I subscribe to comicbook.com and Marvel and all this stuff on Facebook. So some of this is my fault because in scrolling, stuff gets ruined just from the little videos that play while you're scrolling.
Yeah, I get that with Game of Thrones. I've been doing a good job since the new season started by just as soon as I see anything Thrones related, I literally okay, I'm going to digress a little bit here. When I was a kid, I was terrified of Child's Play, Chucky. And growing up, when I would see a commercial on TV, or we had Stars, and if Bride of Chucky was on TV or something, and I would come across it real quick, I'd immediately change the channel and go, la, 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 because I didn't want to see it. And that is what I do now every day when I see something Game of Thrones on my Facebook page. La, 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 Chucky. But anyway, so continue.
Okay, well, here's my thing. Civil War had the opportunity to amaze me, astound me, get me back on board of the Marvel train because it's just kind of been it's not been what they want. I know that. It's not been what Marvel has wanted. Age of Ultron didn't do as good as they wanted it to. A lot of these new things coming out are not living up to what, even though they're breaking the bank and at the box office and stuff like that, they're still not getting the reception that they should and everything like that. And a lot of that is due to the trailers and their business practices in promoting these films. If they would have left Black Panther and Spider-Man completely out of the trailer, and then all of a sudden I'm watching this movie and here comes Black Panther and then here comes Spider-Man, I would have jumped right back on board the Marvel train, and I would have been super excited. That's the thing, is the movie, to say the least, isn't a terrible movie, but the fact is, it didn't do for me what it could have done if they just would not have spoiled that stuff for me.
Okay, real quickly though, you can't blame the movie for the marketing that's being done about it.
No, I blame Marvel.
Okay,
I blame Marvel.
All right. You can be mad at
the
marketing department at Disney /Marvel. Okay, I get that. Go ahead.
Exactly. I mean, what they should have done, they should have hyped up the fact that Ant-Man was going to be in this one, and they should have hyped up Crossbones because, I'm sorry, Crossbones isn't in it for that long. He's got a brief little cameo in it and stuff like that. They should have hyped those two things, and that would have gotten people interested enough and wanting to see this movie enough, because, I'm not going to say who, but the bad guy is not featured in any of the trailers, because honestly, the bad guy, it's really kind of an interesting way they went around with the bad guy. Am I right, Adam?
Well, Kurt, knows, it's Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Who is a comic. And I said to Kurt before I went in, I said, I hope that they give him the goofy purple suit that he actually has in the comics. And I did tell him they did not do that. But yes, I mean, yeah, I liked what they did with Baron Zemo, I guess. He was very understated, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. I thought Black Panther was too. But if they just would have went along with the Baron Zemo line, and they would have hyped Ant-Man and Crossbones to make cameos in it and stuff like that, I think that would have raised the bar enough for them to where people would have actually, still been just excited. But when Spider-Man and Black Panther were revealed in the trailer, it ruined it for me. That could have been such an amazing scene when all of a sudden Tony Stark is in Aunt May's house, and here comes Peter Parker. I would have been a little kid when I saw that again.
Well, see, now, when I read and here's the thing, Tony, you need to do a better job, or maybe you weren't thinking, because your post did not come off as if you were simply upset with the way Marvel had been marketing. You made it sound like you were upset with their business model, in that you're sick of all of these films that are coming out. There's too many of them. I'm getting fatigued. They're not as good as they were in segment 1 or whatever the heck, phase 1, whatever they're calling it. And that is not what you're saying now. You're saying that you're not okay with the marketing. So I guess kind of which is it?
That was just the first part of my rant.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I haven't gotten to the fact that there's too many damn shows out there for me. I mean, for fanboys who have zero life, they go to their job for 8 hours a day, and then they come home and they sit on their computer for the next 12 or 13 hours. Those people, yeah, they can do it. They can watch the Agent Carter and all this new stuff and everything, and everything like that. Mm-hmm. They can do all of that stuff. I can't do that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's just, and they're just dropping so much of it. And when I got into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I was really, really, really excited about it because of the fact that it kind of tied in with the movies, and it was, and I really enjoyed that aspect. But now there's so much of it, and they're releasing a new Marvel movie every single year. And honestly, when it comes to Civil War, let's make a count right now. We have Batman v Superman, okay, superhero against superheroes. Okay, we have the X-Men Apocalypse, which is superheroes against more superheroes, but that's been in the X-Men universe forever. But now we have, Civil War, superheroes versus superheroes, and it's just like I'm sick and tired of the one line of people ever since Braveheart, the one line of people and the other line of people rushing at each other, screaming their faces off, and about ready to battle and everything like that. And I was that stuff has been played to death. I mean, they did that in X-Men: The Last Stand, and I'm just fatigued at how they're doing it, the way that they're going about it, and the fact that, okay, here, I'm sorry, Kurt, here's the spoiler that doesn't really matter. The only spoiler in that movie was the fact that Rhodey didn't die. In the previews, that's what you think. Oh my gosh, is Rhodey dead? Because Iron Man's sitting there holding him and stuff, and that's the only spoiler is that Rhodey didn't die. That's it. There's nothing else that I could say that would be, oh, that's a spoiler or anything like that. It's just too packaged and too mainstream, and they're plugging it out too much, and I think that the storyline is going away with it.
Kurt, your thoughts?
Okay, I gotta disagree because Marvel's only supplying what the market will bear. They're giving people what they want, and you're not required to consume everything they put out. That's on you feeling like you have to watch everything they put out. For instance, I watched the first season of Agent Carter, loved it, skipped the second season. I'm like, oh, well, I just didn't have time for it, so I didn't watch it.
I have not seen an episode of Agent Carter or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I've watched all the episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But I'm just saying, I have not, and I'm fully aware of what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
And, I mean, Daredevil, I'm just now down to the final 2 episodes of Season 2 because I was stretching it out, taking my time to watch it. I think maybe you feel pressure from somewhere that you have to consume everything right away.
Well, I guess maybe that comes from the fact that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did a really good job of tying in with the movies. oh, this episode is about how, these guys have an old Chikari mask and stuff like that, and it's messing with things. And just, I don't know, I liked that aspect, but then once Agent Carter comes out, and what's this new one with the woman in it? What is it? It's really, everybody says it's super, super duper good.
Are you talking about Jessica Jones?
Yeah, Jessica Jones.
That's but that's its own thing. It's not connected. I mean, it's in the Daredevil universe because it's in New York and Hell's Kitchen.
They're making the Defenders, which is basically a poor man's Avengers when that's all said and done. I think that's the goal with that.
That could be. Yeah. I mean, but we have so much. I have so much that I'm happy about. I love Daredevil. I really liked Jessica Jones a lot. I'm looking forward to the Luke Cage series. I'm looking forward to the Punisher series or the Shanisher, if we want to call it that.
Yes,
still.
Thank you. Say it right.
I got to use my own words.
Say it right.
But it's so much to look forward to. I guess I'm having a hard time seeing it from your perspective of feeling like it's too much.
Well, and maybe because I haven't watched any of this other stuff, so I don't really know if it goes along with it or not. I don't know if Jessica Jones is supposed to be in like the Captain America world, and I don't know if Daredevil.
They are in the universe, because if you look in like the back around, they're like in offices, you'll see newspaper clippings, Attack on New York,
it's a lot of little Easter eggs and things that let you know that this is a lived-in Marvel universe.
My thing, Tony, is that Age of Ultron was not as good as the Avengers. I don't think anyone denies that. Even Joss Whedon will come out. I mean, that movie basically killed him trying to make that work.
He hasn't done anything since.
Exactly.
Why is that?
Well, he's exhausted.
Well, that is because I think, and I'm not disagreeing with you here. I think the Marvel studio got involved a lot, and they said, no, we need this to be a lot more world building of a movie. We need to have these locations. We need to have this happen with Thor, which is completely out of nowhere. For me, Ultron was kind of a bland villain. But then they follow it up with Ant-Man. And Ant-Man, I don't know if you've seen it or not, Tony, is a much smaller, much condensed
so to speak,
heist movie, where it's not everyone must save the world, and it's hardly villain of the week. It's a heist movie. It's completely different. He's using his powers in unique and different ways, and then they brought him in and they made him do cool things too in the the Civil War movie. So I thought they're doing a fine job in giving us variety with these films and things like that. Another thing, I'm
not saying there's not variety. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of variety to go around. I'm just saying that, for me personally, it's just so much all at once. They just keep pushing stuff out there, and like they just released a new trailer for a new Marvel series that's coming out and everything.
What's
yesterday.
That one?
I don't know. I saw a bunch of nerds posting about it though.
I haven't. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Yeah, but I mean, and they have the show with that's that DC Legends show or whatever. Never mind.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not completely putting down the movies and stuff. They can still surprise me. But the fact is that I just feel like I said in my post, that it's going to turn into this James Bond thing, where they just use the same formula and they try to cater to people as much as possible.
And Bond has been around for 60 years.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, that's what I said in my post. It took them 44 years for the audiences to finally go, okay, it's the same shit over and over and over again, and they had to reboot it. And I'm worried that's going to happen. And like I said, it's not that Civil War sucked. It's the fact that they had my trust, and then they blew it when they ruined the film for me.
I guess what I would say, there's a couple of things. When it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, what I would like them to do, and even though it sucks because then you lose someone that you like, but I think death needs to matter. You look at, what's his name, the Coulson, who dies in the Avengers, spoiler alert, and comes back for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Well, they did set that up well, though, in how it happened.
But that's my point. And why? Loki is killed somewhere along the way, but he comes back to life. I mean,
Loki's a demigod.
I understand that it's comic books, and death is never, besides for Aunt May, besides for Uncle Ben, death is never final. But it's just, and Gwen Stacy. But you have to, basically anyone's Spider-Man. But you have to, it has to mean something, and they have to be willing to make a bold move like that, to bring new characters in and everything. Because what they are doing by adding all these characters and never removing any characters, it's getting more difficult and difficult to A, give them reasons to be there, and 2, give them adequate screen time.
Well, I think what they need to do is, instead of doing that, they just need to limit the number of characters they're putting into things. Not everybody has to be in everything. Like, for instance, the Hulk is not in the new Cap movie. And who else that's in the Avengers isn't there? I forget.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor. The Thor and the Hulk, not there. They don't need to be there, apparently. I haven't seen it yet, but from what I understand, it's not important that they're there. Well, why does, Black Panther and Spider-Man and everyone else all have to be into a movie? Make a small... bigger isn't always better. That can be your downfall, and that can be problematic.
Then Zer's just going to complain about Spider-Man: Homecoming. So, but no,
okay, dude, seriously though, Adam, you have to admit, all of a sudden it was just like Spider-Man's here. He goes and meets up with him. Then all of a sudden he's fighting with him, not really even knowing what he's fighting for. And then all of a sudden, one of the other superheroes, kind of knocks him around a little bit. Then Iron Man goes up to him. He's like, "Okay, you're done." And that was it. That was it.
I don't deny that it is somewhat clumsy how they bring Spider-Man in, but I understand it, and I don't let it hurt the film or hold it against it, because that happened like literally when they were halfway through production. All of a sudden, Sony came crawling over to him and said, "We're willing to give you the Spider-Man character." So they had to do a lot of reworks to get him back in, and I look forward to see what they can do when they have his own solo movie. Before we continue, though, I want to say that I'm more critical of Marvel and how they're handling the comic books nowadays. They are so against properties that they do not have the film rights to. It's not fair to those fans. In X-Men right now, they have made it so, I don't know, there was like I forget what happened, but basically there was like a sterilization and no new mutants are being made. Not to mention they killed Wolverine in the comics and he has not come back. That's like a staple. The X-Men have been around since the 1940s or 60s, whatever it may be. And now no new mutants, so no new characters, and one of the top ones is gone. Another one, too, they just canceled the Fantastic Four. One of the longest running comics at Marvel, they just canceled it. And it's, again, because they don't have the rights to these guys, and they stand nothing to gain by having a cool, kick-ass comic based on something that they're not going to make a film of.
Well, that's the other thing. I know that the Fantastic Four is not a Disney... owned, property and everything like that, but it still has the Marvel name on it. And that, if they would have made that movie into an entire series on Netflix, I would have been into it, because they would have been able to do a lot more with it. Because the entire movie, I don't even know if you guys saw the movie or not, but the entire movie up until the last 15 minutes is all backstory pretty much. And then all of a sudden, it's all origin story. And then all of a sudden, now we got to defeat Dr. Doom, and then it's done. And I think that if they would,
you should be mad at Josh Trank, because you should be mad at him.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just, the Marvel movies, they just, it hurts me to say this, it really does, but they have they have an opportunity here to be better than DC, because it's not that hard to be better than DC right now.
At least in the cinematic universe.
Exactly. At least in the cinematic universe, it's not that hard to be better than DC. And I just think that their films are they're mediocre in my eyes compared to Phase 1. Phase 1 got me so excited because they didn't spoil everything. They saved that stuff. All of a sudden, at the end of Iron Man 2, when you saw Thor's hammer, that was amazing. But if they would have put that out these days, that'd be in the trailer, just so you'd go and see it, just so you can go and see Thor's hammer and stuff like that. Like you guys said, I think that I'm more pissed off at their business model and how they handle the release of these features and all the different things that they put out there. I think teaser trailer, regular trailer, theatrical trailer, done.
Here's the thing. You're bringing in a ton of fans that have never read a comic book in their life, right, Kurt?
That's true.
You're bringing in a ton of fans who have never once picked up an Iron Man comic book and has no idea about the Civil War.
They don't know who Black Panther is.
And that's what I was going to get to. All of a sudden, you're mad because they show, Black Panther's in the trailer. You know he's going to be in the film. By showing him in the trailer and by having all the hype around him online and everything, people can look him up. They can read that he is the Prince of Wakanda, and that Wakanda is a fictional country in Africa, and vibranium comes from there, and he's got his own set of fighting skills, and you can find out all this information. Maybe pick up a couple of Black Panther comic books if you want to do so. By not introducing him in the trailer and in the promotional material and everything, you're going to have a bunch of confused kids and 20-somethings and 30-somethings that now have never picked up a comic book say, who's this Black Panther guy? I have no idea who he is.
Well, you could say the same thing about Boba Fett. I mean, nobody knew who Boba Fett was. They tossed him in there, and all of a sudden he became something, and people started.
That was
there was
the
no
fans made him that. Though.
I was good. That you're absolutely right, Kurt.
The fans made Boba Fett a big deal. He was a throwaway bounty hunter character, and who's this guy? And that's how that started. So you can't really compare those things. But
I just think, you're saying, okay, they can go out and they can do research on Black Panther beforehand and everything like that, but then that could still lead to spoilers if they go along with the comic books. Why not show them this awesome guy and then be like, who is this Black Panther guy after they see the movie? Because guess what? You find out that he's from Wakanda in the movie. You find out that's where vibranium is from in the movie. You find out all this stuff in the movie. You don't need to do any research beforehand because they did all the exposition for you in the movie, and I think they did it pretty damn well.
That's a valid point. Yeah.
Honestly, if you ask me, Black Panther was my favorite part of that movie. I thought his storyline was very underappreciated, and I think that he was the most interesting aspect of that movie because he was new and because I didn't know a lot about Black Panther and stuff. But it's just. They throw too much stuff out there, hoping to get the biggest win imaginable. That's all they're looking at. They're avatarded because they just want to outdo Avatar so much. All these studios, that's all they want to do is break that thing that Avatar set back in whatever 2008. They want to bust that wall down, and in order to do that, I mean, everybody was just kind of like Civil War. Okay, well, we just got done with Avengers and stuff, and people weren't as excited about Civil War until they saw Spider-Man in the trailer. And I just think that it would have been even better if people would have come out of that movie saying, "Oh my God, dude, you need to go and see this." No, you have no idea. You need to go and see this movie because there is nothing that I can say right now to Kurt to say, "Oh my God, Kurt, you need to go and see this movie."
I'm going to see it anyway.
It's all in the trailer. It's all in the trailers, man. There's nothing that stands out that wasn't in the trailer. Nothing.
That we'll have to wait until I see it, and then I'll tell you whether I agree with you or
yeah,
not.
I'd be interested to find out because I kind of disagree with Mr. Zur here, but that's nothing new for fans of the podcast.
No.
That's going to do it for us here. It's been a lot of fun.
Wow, we're done, huh? Wow.
Yeah. Well, it goes fast when you got a lot to talk about. But that's going to do it for us here on Completely Unoriginal. For Kurt Campbell and Tony Zur, I'm Adam St. Paul. Until the next time.